Last minute resistance is when you have a girl pretty much naked in front of you, or she's on your bed, and then she starts playing this weird game where she's like, no, we're not having sex. Now, all of the signs make it seem kind of logical that you would have sex. You know, you probably had like some kind of flirty date, maybe you've been kissing, you bring her back, she's probably lying on your bed. There's been times when a girl can literally be naked, legs open, and she's like, no, we're not having sex. Why does it happen, and how can you overcome this? This is a fucking annoying thing that quite a lot of girls do, and they don't totally realize why they're doing it themselves, and a lot of guys don't know. So the worst thing that you can do, the single worst thing that you can do when you get last minute resistance, when there's a girl, you know, probably on your bed and she's like, no, we're not having sex, is to try and push past that and be like pushy or forceful. Not only are you gonna like catch a case for that, but it's also like such a horrifying experience for the girl if you can't take no for an answer. And this is such a weird thing, but like, you have to be okay with taking no for an answer literally mid fuck. Like, a girl is allowed, like, you could have your dick in a girl and like she's allowed to say like, no, stop, I don't want to continue anymore. So of course, if you haven't even like put your dick in her yet and she's like there lying on her bed, she's allowed to change her mind, and you need to be okay with that. This is totally serious, and to push past this because you're thinking like, oh well, I'm the alpha male. Usually when a girl does say, oh no, we're not having sex, she doesn't really mean it in a certain way. There's a full rejection where the girl's like, okay, get off me, you know, I'm going home and stuff, fine. But there's almost like a subtle kind of difference between this last minute resistance, whereas a girl kind of almost testing you to see what kind of man you are. So the majority of guys, especially younger guys, they'll throw a fit. She'll say, we're not having sex, and they'll be like, wait, what, why? But you came back to my place, and why not? Wait, what's wrong? Or some guys will be like, oh yeah, yes we are, like, oh shut up. Like, both of those guys have failed the test, and she's instantly lost all respect and attraction for them. There is one correct way to overcome last minute resistance and to give her the level of comfort that she needs to actually proceed in you fucking her. And so when, you know, she looks at you and says like, no, oh no, you think we're having sex? We're not having sex. I'm not fucking you tonight. I'm not having sex with you tonight. You need to act totally and utterly nonchalant, as if what she said is like great, like she's not even talking about anything that's that important. The first time that I got this kind of last minute resistance, it hurt, because I literally thought, wait, you know, I've done everything right, she's here, my dick's even hard, like come on, let's fucking go, what the fuck is she waiting for? Like, I got pissed off at the girl and everything. I learned over months and years that this is somewhat of like a frequent thing that will happen with a lot of girls, is that they'll have this last minute resistance and they'll talk in a way that they are absolutely certain that they're not gonna fuck you, and they'll say something like, we're not gonna have sex. And so in your mind, as a logical masculine man, you will think, oh, that means that she doesn't want to have sex with me tonight or maybe forever. And so it's quite like almost heartbreaking, kind of annoying. It can be a little bit enraging. What she actually means is that right here, right now, right this moment, this second, I'm not comfortable enough with you to have sex with you. Her mind can, and probably would, if you do the right things, change literally 5 minutes from then. The wrong things that we just said is to like pressure her or to get like too upset, because that means that you don't understand women. When a woman says something, even if she kind of implies it's kind of like longer term, like, no, we're not having sex, what she really just means is like, nope, we're not having sex right now. Maybe in like 5 to 10 minutes if you stop acting like such a chump. So you take off the pressure, you take off the accelerator, ease up, focus on something else for a little bit, start kissing her again and proceed a little bit more. And maybe she says it again, it's, yep, I don't care, yep, ease up. I'm changing the music on the speaker, I'm drinking some water, I offer her some water, then we start kissing again. And you'll probably get like further and further and further every time you kind of like pull yourself back and then go forward again. The guy who tries to like burst through, like fucking rape through her resistance is like a horrible little cretin, and usually girls are really sort of like aggressive and hateful towards guys like that. And also the guy who gets like really hurt by it and he's like, wait, what do you mean we're not supposed to have sex? Like, but I thought we were gonna, why not? You can't take something like this seriously because it's literally just based on her emotion. She doesn't feel comfortable enough right now, and you have to have this like nonchalant kind of thing, like, yep, yeah, that's fine, yeah, of course or not. So one of like the practical autistic kind of like detailed step that you can do, let's say you're literally in almost like missionary position with this girl, she's got her legs around you and she's like, no, we're not having sex, she's like covering her pussy like this and she's almost like playing around. If you push past and act like hurt with that, it's unattractive and she'll literally start to seriously consider not fucking you. But she's almost doing it almost like a half game and half her level of comfort. So when this happens and this girl's like, oh no, we're not having sex, literally a simple practical thing that you can do instead of like being, you know, weirdly hostile or aggressive or whatever, is literally just grab a water bottle nearby, take a couple of sips, and then offer it to her with like a smile, and as she's drinking it, give her like a kiss on the cheek or something, then take the water bottle when she's done, put it to the side, start kissing her again. Do that again, start escalating again, and I guarantee you'll be like one big step closer to being like dick and pussy. Sometimes you have to do this like a couple of times, and of course you shouldn't be like relentlessly like, you know, trying to accelerate to a girl who's saying, oh, I'm not having sex with you. But sometimes a girl will say something like, oh, we're not having sex, even though she's there naked and it's like she's somewhat playing around with you and she wants you to fuck her, just like not really right now. There's like two different kinds of rejections. One of them is this playful one where she's playing a game with you and she just wants to make sure that you're not like some like weird sort of rapist or some like wimpy little beta male who's gonna get hurt by this. And the other one is a real rejection where she says, oh, I'm gonna go, my friend's outside now. So if it's not that, if she hasn't stood up and she's on the way to leave, or, you know, she's texting a friend or something, chances are she's kind of doing this, like, it's this weird thing that girls do, and it can really feel like you're on a dangerous path, like a dangerous tightrope right now, because you're like, okay, you know, I mean, I want to fuck. It seems like she does, because she's, you know, she's kind of rejecting me, but she's literally lying in my bed, being proper sexy and stuff, and she's still kissing me. She's still, like, you know, stroking your dick or whatever. But how much can I push without being accused of something? This is like, it's risky. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a certain level of risk involved, because she does get to say like, oh no, but I told him that I didn't want to have sex with her. But I can tell you from my experience, of all the girls I've slept with, I'd say probably around 20 to 30 have had this sort of last minute resistance where they've been like, oh, we're not having sex. I'm just covering their pussy, like they're naked on my bed, just covering their pussy like that, and almost like, I know this sounds weird, but it's like they want you to kind of like, I can't give you a certain level of advice, but you kind of know what I'm gonna say and I'm implying here. But a lot of girls like find pleasure in this kind of like play of this kind of like teasing you, and they kind of want you to shut them up and proceed anyway certain times, right? Don't just fucking hear that and be like, oh, okay, so I'll rape the next bitch that I see. Don't just be a fucking weirdo. There's a certain time, if you've got the right kind of intuition to know and the right experience, that a certain girl is playing with you and she wants you to be a bit more aggressive, and she wants you to, you know, like to take a sip of the water and pass her some. And certain girls are quite literally just rejecting you, and they're the ones that you've got to like learn to like, yeah, that's fine, okay, yeah, we're not having sex, okay, how are you getting home, something like that. It's hard for me to give you advice because it depends what kind of guy you are, and also what kind of girls that you're attracting and what her sort of energy is like. I'd have to kind of watch and tell you and coach you. Like if I was watching from like the side of the bed, I'd be like, yeah, do this, bro, do this, but we can't really do that. In the previous bonus video of this guide where I showed you the 2 cheap purchases that you can use to improve your sex life, we spoke about the speaker and the mood light. Those also heavily decrease how much last minute resistance you get, because last minute resistance is all about just her not feeling just totally comfortable enough to push past that place, that line, for her to like sort of allow you to fuck her. And so this line kind of goes down with things like alcohol, with things like the right kind of environments, with things like privacy, with things like your attractiveness. And so you want to bring her sort of barrier to fuck low. Obviously don't get her drunk, don't do weird shit, bro. But this is why most girls and most guys like to like drink before they have sex, because it kind of lowers that sort of barrier to entry down. The right music, the right vibe, the right lighting also makes an effect. So make sure, if you haven't already, to watch the video just behind this one in the bonuses.